Technologies are always developing. Bank statements, there is more OCR technologies.
Figure out what your goals are in a rate environment like this.
DSCRs are performing very steady. The computer will break down all the income. Everything in the world is getting faster and faster and faster.
Welcome to A&D Digest, your source for insightful discussions and finance and beyond. I'm your host, Nikita Verindab, and in today's episode, we'll explore the current state of mortgage industry with Alex Suslov, head of capital markets, and get updates on the Colorado Mortgage Summit from Mike Pearson, senior vice president of business development. Plus, in the spirit of Halloween, we've dared to ask brokers about their biggest fears. Let's dive in an informative and spectacular discussion today. Mike, Alex, welcome back.
Great to be here.
Absolutely, I was missing it. Having a great time here.
I have a lot of questions for today, so hope we're gonna answer them pretty clear and make the brokers feel more relaxed after the show. Michael,
Yes, sir.
heard that you attended the show, right?
2 days ago, Denver, Colorado. Colorado Broker Summit, Colorado Mortgage Summit. I say that
Colorado
correctly.
Mortgage Summit.
Yep.
In 5 words, how would you describe it?
Let me count the words. It was a great event.
Wonderful. That was fast.
It was an incredible event. Many of the top lenders were there. There were hundreds of attendees that came by and got to have a lot of conversations with great originators.
Basically, reading your speech that you gave on that show, how did it go?
Yeah, it's a funny story. So we started with the concept that we're going to come up with these great ideas and present these great ideas. And we realized our customer knows more than we do about what's going on, right? So like I said, we spent a lot of time speaking to our customers, seeing what direction, seeing what tasks what they're doing, how they're accessing technology, things that they're doing to adjust, and then, trying to share some of those best practices with people who may or may not be doing it. Many of the tips and things that we talked about are things we know we should, but that doesn't mean that we're always practicing it, right? So just going through some of those things. Like I said, it was a great conversation, and it was fabulous to be able to present that to kind of a new crowd for me. I don't spend a lot of time in Colorado, so it was excellent.
But you also had a chance to speak to a lot of attendees there, right?
We did. We actually got to walk around, interview some people. This being kind of the spooky season of the year, right? So we went around and we talked a little bit about some of people's what were their childhood fears, which is always fun to kind of look back on. Hopefully, not put them back into that state of shock. And then, it's a little spooky times in the industry as well. So talk to them a little bit about, what their mortgage-related fears are.
Let's take a look.
When you were a small child, what was your worst fear?
That I wouldn't get enough candy, and I would have this recurring dream that this monster would put me upside down in the passenger seat of a car, and I couldn't go trick-or-treating with everybody.
One of my favorite movies as a kid, but also frightened me, was The Mummy. I could not see where he's coming out of the cave by myself. Like the cave with him all slimy.
Deep water. Yeah, I went snorkeling and I looked out in the ocean and I could never see anything else, and that freaked me out.
I grew up in a very cold part of the country, so probably freezing to death. It was North Dakota, if anybody knows North Dakota. No, freezing to death, yes.
What's scary for me and why I'm here today is to make sure I'm not missing out on any good products, such as your company has already shared with me some good information. When you have your investors and things are going, but the economy's changing, recession is coming, and I just really feel like I need to be up to speed as to every opportunity that I can have going forward.
One day before closing, client decides to apply for a car.
Even losing one deal is a lot right now because one deal's a big deal. Friends that are realtors being hurt by the industry, maybe even having to leave the industry. I think that's kind of my biggest fear for them.
No fears, all good.
That was a great video, as I think. Guys, what do you actually think about the fears?
I think that's why A&D Mortgage is here to fight all these fears.
Fight the fears, right. market is going crazy, rates are going crazy. Alex, could you please shed some light on what's going on in the mortgage industry today?
Absolutely. I'd say the biggest challenge today is the affordability of the mortgage products and affordability of the nation. Right now, it's a little harder to get a mortgage just because of the increase in property prices as well as increase in the interest rates. The payments are much higher and incomes did not grow that much as the payments did. But as always, market is adjusting to the changes. People are finding other ways to tackle and get to the final goal of buying a property. We see on investment properties a little more percentage-wise, more properties go towards DSCR products and it's an easier product, right? You don't need to spend that much time on proving income, bringing all the statements. And I think Mike would share that opinion. Brokers love it, right?
Yeah, it's a great product for us. I know they've been booming across the industry, and from what I see, it seems like the default rates are very good on those as well. So they've been performing very well also.
Absolutely. DSCRs are performing very steady. That's what we see as well. Also with decrease in the affordability and some updates to the guidelines come and making the guidelines softer and easier to qualify. Like we are, for example, improving our guidelines on the trade lines requirement, and with this week we've released the guidelines with no minimum trade line requirements as long as there are minimum 3 credit scores on the primary borrower's credit report.
That's a really actually big changes as I see it for the guidelines and in the market. So I feel like the brokers actually gonna take advantage of it and definitely use that change in the guideline. In terms of mortgage products and services, again, have you noticed any innovative solutions or maybe changes that our viewers should be aware of?
Like I said, there's technologies are always developing. If we take, for example, bank statements, there is more OCR technologies come into place where you can just drop the bank statements in it. The not human, but the computer will not calculate, but break down all the income. You can put rules in there to set aside some transfers and have actual deposits counted in. Obviously, there can be like a human eye thing where you at the end of the day need to just reconcile and see what's in there or not. But with increase in costs, with the increase in the labor costs and inflation, such technologies help mortgage companies with 2 main things, I'd say. First, save on costs, and second, speed up the process, because at the end of the day, everything in the world is getting faster and faster and faster. So it's about the most important saying, time is money.
Right. The question actually for both of you, what actually advice would you offer to individuals looking to enter the real estate market and for those who are planning to refinance their homes right now?
I guess some of the conversations that we have is starting at the beginning. What are we looking to do? What are you looking to accomplish? Is a refinance the right product? Is a second mortgage the right product? So going through and having that conversation. When I talk to clients, the amount of time they spend up front discovering the whys is what's setting the successful originators apart from others, is really getting to the root. When we're in a lower rate environment, people refi just to get a lower rate. But you have to figure out what your goals are in a rate environment like this and figure out what's the best product to solve your needs.
And I would say today is important to be realistic, because
absolutely,
when properties increase in prices a lot right now, those are stabilizing. In some states we see slight declines in the property values, and some people live with that thought, that if they bought a property 6 months ago, it absolutely must have risen in price, and when they apply for a mortgage, they just throw in a number 20% over the price. Then appraisal comes in and it may be even lower of the initial price. what happens? People get upset. Mortgage is ruined because your LTV is no longer what you were initially expected. So I think the realistic approach is what's important, and for brokers and loan originators to provide that to their borrowers.
That was actually beautiful. Thank you so much. Is there anything that we should add?
You know what? And to the appraisal part and the valuation part, at A&D we offer at the submission stage, we can run three things for brokers. First, AVM to see the property value and get an idea of what the price is. Second, we run for investment properties long-term rental AVM to see the estimate. And number three, we can run a short-term rental estimate, RDNA, to see what the short-term rent may be on the property. So brokers and borrowers may have the full picture to decide on the valuation side.
And that is completely for free, right? So after the broker submits the file, he can ask to do that, like us to do that basically for him, right?
Absolutely, free for broker, not for us.
Yeah, right.
But people like that, to be able to get that decision making up front instead of having to wait for an appraisal or down the line to decide what to do. I mean, it's obviously so much better to adjust up front. And that's just a service that we do for our clients.
But they need to submit the file first, and after that they will only get it, right?
Yep. And sign up when they need.
Of course. As always, I'm really happy to have you here. You always shed light on every question that I ask, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. It was nice.
Had a great time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on this episode of A&D Digest. We hope you found our discussion with Alex Soslov and Mike Pearson as enlightening as we did. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay updated on all upcoming content. I'm Nikita Verindab, and it's been a pleasure hosting this show. Until next time, stay informed and have a fantastic day.